My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Call of Cthulu series on Rimworld. We've picked up exactly where we left off last time. The only very minor change I have done is I've prepared a work order at the campfire to prepare some cooked meals for our colonists, just so they no longer have to eat any raw meat, which comes with a negative mood modifier. Nothing else has changed other than that, and we're still stuck with this very rudimentary shelter here, just in the cusp of this little mountain that we've nestled ourselves into. So for today's plan, it's mainly about establishing our presence on this little planet, getting some defences set up if possible, but ideally the main thing we want to do is take care of our immediate survival. So that's stockpiling some resources, making sure we have plenty of building materials, and dealing with anything that Mr. Lovecraft decides to throw our way in this episode. So let's make a start then, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and hunt a muffalo or two. Now these do have a chance to trigger the entire herd when you hunt them. Our hunter is Q, as we remember from the last episode. So when she has nothing else to do, she will go ahead and hunt a muffalo. And as we can see, she's making her way down there now to start the hunt. One of the first things we do want to do is make sure we can get this stockpile indoors. As it stands, all these items will start to deteriorate due to being outdoors. As we can see here, it's not only unroofed but outdoors, so it's suffering a double penalty there, which is going to decrease the hit points and cause them to perish very quickly. So what we'll do is we'll set up an order to mine into the mountainside a little, and we'll use this as our stockpile area in there. I do believe our colonists are all set to mine, although Gabe and Izzy do have it set as a low priority. So as you saw there, attacking that muffalo did cause the muffalo to take revenge. Thankfully it wasn't the entire herd. This one has got Manhunter, as has his compatriot just down here. The others, however, remain neutral, so we don't have to worry about being absolutely swamped by the muffalos. We just have to deal with these two here. The first one is already bleeding out in a matter of hours, so he should go down pretty soon. And then we just have to take care of the second one here. In fact, there goes the first one now. So we're going to target the other man-hunting muffalo that's joined his friend in attacking. There we go, that's both of the man-hunting muffalos now taken care of. So we'll have Q now finish off the man-hunting muffalo that is just downed and not dead, and then we can haul them back to our base. We can leave the initial muffalo there for a while. It's not going to well, it is going to deteriorate, but it will not rot out here due to the freezing temperatures. So the meat won't go to waste as long as we can get there before it does properly deteriorate, which should take a small while anyway, so I think we're going to be fine. So we can allow our colonists to head off to sleep for their first night out here in the frozen tundra of this Rimworld. As we can see, we still have hypothermia to contend with out here in the tundra, due to our colonists' lack of decent or suitable clothing. However, as we saw there with Izzy, they will automatically take themselves to the nearest warm area to temporarily warm themselves up. In the meantime, yet another muffalo has gone Manhunter as a result of our hunt. Luckily, it is limited to just the one, so I think we'll be able to handle this with relative ease. In fact, there we go, so that's one more muffalo to add to our stockpile. Okay, so we have a first group of visitors to the colony. This is a group from North Uliar, and they are visiting, and they do have a few items to trade. So these will now make their way over to our little encampment, and we can see what they have to offer us. We don't have much to offer in return. Everything we do have is pretty much required for our immediate survival, and it's not the sort of thing we want to be trading away, of course. Not unless, obviously, we can get something better in return, but that's going to be unlikely. But we'll talk to them regardless. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and hunt yet another muffalo. I've had Izzy start working on some pelt coats, and as we can see, Izzy has equipped the first one himself, which is fair enough. That has had the effect of increasing his minimum comfortable temperature to -25 degrees Celsius. That is -13 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. However, to craft extras, we do need some more blue fur. We have 72 units of blue fur at the moment, and each pelt coat does require 80. So we are going to need more blue fur. As we can see, we still have 2 muffalos left, so we'll tag one of those to be hunted. You can also see that a polar bear has entered the arena. At the moment, it's not paying us any attention whatsoever, so we can disregard it for now. And if we just have a look here, these do drop bearskin, and bearskin does have pretty decent insulation properties. So at some point we will turn our attention to the polar bear and start hunting that before it decides to hunt us, of course. I've also put up or started work on 3 rudimentary bedrooms that will give each of our colonists their own private space to sleep. At this point in time, obviously, they will not have any sort of heating in there, so they're going to have to deal with the cold temperatures, unfortunately. Okay, so now we're going to conduct a trade. Gabe is in poor health, so this is affecting the trade prices, as we can see. Although the bonus is at 0%, so I don't think that the effect is too bad. And I think what we're going to do... I'm tempted to sell the magicite, but that would only get us 18 units of silver, and I don't think that's worth it at this point, so we'll hold off on that for now. Wisely, Q abandoned her hunting trip due to hypothermia, and instead she has headed off to bed to rest and warm up, thanks to our campfire that we have there. Izzy is already awake, and it's only 2 AM in the morning, obviously. 2 AM is always in the morning, isn't it? I don't know why I had to clarify that. I do believe Izzy is our plantsman, indeed so. So we may as well make use of him and have some wood to be harvested. He is within his comfortable temperature threshold. Outdoors at the moment it is -24, and he can withstand -25 comfortably. There's no danger in sending him out at this time for an extended period of time. Our visitors have now opted to leave the map due to the temperature. I must say that is a pretty wise precaution. Okay, so Izzy has harvested the trees as instructed, is now bringing the wood back to our stockpile. As you can see here, we have started moving it inside our indoor shelter. That's going to protect it from unnecessary deterioration, of course. Okay, Q is now going to reattempt aborted hunting ventures from last night. There's only the 2 muffalo left, so even if they were to turn manhunter, I do think Q would be able to handle both of them. And in fact, there we go, they have now gone manhunter. In fact, only one of them has gone manhunter, so that is quite useful. So that's 1 down, and while we're here, I don't think there's any harm in hunting the second muffalo, which is also now turned manhunter. There we go, that's both muffalos now taken care of. We'll finish them both off. And we've got a snow hare that has gone manhunter as well. Sadly, our only colonist that has any sort of weaponry is away down on the south side of the map. Neither Gabe nor Izzy do have any sort of weaponry. And while they could probably take on a hare in a one-on-one fist fight, I think it's probably not a bad idea if we can quickly craft them some sort of armaments. We do have quite a bit of wood on hand, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's have a look what we could make them. Right, I think we're going to go for a tribal axe. Although given that Gabe is indoors... Oh no, the snow hare has continued to head towards our base. Luckily, as we can see, Q has just returned. So if we draft her now... Where's the snow hare? There it is. And we'll try and draw its attention with Q, given that she is the one who is armed. Gabe, we will have you hang out in the stockpile area just for a few moments until Q can get this snow hare's attention. There we go, threat neutralized. Q, I don't know why you didn't bring one of the Muffo corpses back with you, but you opted not to, which is a little bit strange. Gabe is cowering in the corner, although he's now come back to his senses, and he's going to butcher the snow hare for us. Okay. As we can see here, an obelisk has randomly appeared on our map. This is part of the Call of Cthulu mod. And what's going to happen now is Gabe is going to investigate the obelisk. At which point, well, we'll see what happens after he's finished that. Okay, so now he's going to go off and write in a frenzy. As we can see, investigating the obelisk has had a very poor effect on his mood there. Negative, what's that, 41,369, I think that is. I have looked upon all that the universe has to hold of horror, and even the skies of spring and the flowers of summer must ever afterward be poison to me. So he's now going to go off and furiously write, as we can see here. Gabe, scientist, has begun obsessively writing pages of strange symbols. And this is going to unlock the occult side of things. Gabe has no memory of writing that is still slightly dampened from the sweat of their labours. It is a ghastly book filled with a strange alien language that is not readily understood. The ominous-looking diagrams of ritual sacrifices and spells within the tome has some colonists unnerved by its occult nature, whereas others have proposed setting up a proper research centre to further study the secrets held within. Grimoire completed. So as you can see, he has dropped the Grimoire of the Occult on Q's head to all intents and purposes, and with that we can now build a research centre to investigate the Grimoire and start unlocking some occult research and technologies. So that's the opening segue into the occult side of things provided by the various mods, and we'll take a look at that in the very near future, I'm sure. For now, we really need to prioritise our colonists' survival and well-being, of course. There's no point unlocking secrets of the occult if we're all going to freeze to death. You may also notice I have put down the 3 obelisks that we've started with, and I've tried to put them in a position what's given us pretty decent coverage in this area. Our next hunting target is going to be these 2 ibex that we have just to the south. And I think, well, in fact no, Q has already opted to go hunt them herself anyway. I was going to trigger that for her, but she's decided to do it herself, which is fantastic. As you can see, Gabe's mood has been absolutely tanked. The acquired occult grimoire is giving him a -10 mood modifier. As we can see, he is the only one who is feeling the effects of that, and that mood modifier is going to last for 6.6 days, so another week. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on Gabe and keep him as cheerful as we possibly can. Okay, since it looks like you'll be here for a while, Izzy thinks that you should give your faction a name. What should your faction be called? Well, I think for the faction name, we shall go for the Cult of Eldritch. No. The Cult of Cthulhu. Yes. Izzy also thinks that you should give this settlement a name. What should this local settlement be called? Well, I think we'll call this settlement Innsmouth. If we could spell it, of course. And that fits in with the Lovecraft theme, of course. I'm not happy with the faction name. Let's see if we can get a decent one off the randomised list here. In fact, we'll just go for the Cult of Eldritch. Although, saying that, that is a big glowing neon sign that, hey guys, we're cultists. I think, in reality, they'd be a little bit more, how shall we say, covert about it. So I think we will just go for one of the randomised names. The Concord of Hisbium. That'll do. Just sticking in with the theme there, that, as I said, a cultist settlement in reality wouldn't advertise the fact that they're cultists so overtly, so having a surreptitious name does make a bit more sense, I think. Okay, I'm going to get Izzy to craft some more clothing for us at this point. A crate with a husky called Esme is crashing in a transport pod nearby. If it survives the crash, it will be badly wounded. If rescued, it can freely join the colony or go back to living in the wild. Let's have a look where it's crash landing. Oh, it's very close. Well, I am sorry, but you are going to be finished off. You're not going to look a free meal in the mouth. So, Izzy, what are you doing? You're making a tribal axe. That's done. So once you've dropped that off, can you please go and finish off Esme? Q, what have you been doing there? Did you hunt both of the ibex as requested? I know you definitely hunted one because I saw its corpse being butchered. Let's have a look here. I guess you may have done. We've had some caribous enter the map. These also drop plain leather, but as we saw there in the wildlife tab, these do have a 10% chance to go manhunter upon being injured. They move at 5 cells per second. Our hunter, Q, moves at 4.56 cells per second, so they would outpace, and if they all went manhunter simultaneously, it might be a bit of a challenge to deal with. Well, what do we have here? Gabe flirted with Q by describing her as a shining valley. Q was attracted and is now Gabe's lover. Gabe and Q now want to sleep together. Consider assigning them a double bed. Well, lucky for you guys, we have one bedroom ready to go here. Do we have any bones left? We have a few, but not many. And we have some more there as well. So for now, I'm afraid you're going to have a sleeping spot on the floor. Set owner, so this is Gabe and Q. So these two sleeping spots here, we can now get rid of those. The only problem is, of course, the temperatures in there aren't going to be ideal. We now have a second rudimentary bedroom put together. So we can also deconstruct the other sleeping spot and put a new one down in here for Izzy. Okay, I think the next creature on my hit list will be the polar bear. It provides decent leathers, and it's also ideal to remove such a threat from the environment on our own terms, so we're not left scrambling should it turn manhunter later. There is the other ibex that was hunted. Gabe is holding it back now, which is great. I think what we might have to do is temporarily build a few campfires inside these two bedrooms. At least until we get some other heat source set up. And in fact, Q can go ahead and work on those. Yes, it's going to disturb her from her sleep, but it's better than rendering our colonists dumb with hypothermia, of course. As we can see, Gabe has started to develop hypothermia in his sleep, and we certainly don't want that. As we can see, we're agonizingly short of enough blue fur to create a third fur coat, which would be for Q. We have 77 units, and it requires 78. So hopefully we'll have another couple of Muffalo enter the arena in the not too distant future. We don't even have enough plain leather to construct a coat either. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to risk hunting these caribou. And I think if they do go manhunter, then we'll take control of Q and prioritise her targets in an attempt to wound them all and slow them all down, so she has a greater chance to escape. So in fact that's what we'll do now. Obviously the polar bear is an option, but given that it drops bear skin, although it does drop 86. So if we were to construct a butcher's table out of, say, bone, then perhaps we would get just enough from the polar bear to construct a nice coat for Q. So let's try that, shall we? Let's go for a bone butcher's table. We'll pop it in that little area there, of course. And Q, I want you to... Oh, you're already working on it naturally. That's great. Izzy, what are you up to? Not much. There we go. And now let's have a butcher creature build, do forever. And of course we do want to include human-like corpses, not that we have any at the moment, but eventually I'm sure we will. So now we'll go and hunt the polar bear. Where has it gone? It's all the way down on the south. There he is. Hunt. Okay, yes, that's probably not a bad idea actually to boost your recreation levels there. Let's get to 70%. Oh, here we go. We have our first raid. A group of pirates from shows, cannibals, whatever, have arrived nearby. They'll prepare for a while and then attack. So we can prepare a defense or we can want to attack them preemptively. Here they are. What are they armed with? Okay, so just a bone tribal axe, so nothing too concerning. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and get Q down in this area and we'll take care of them straight away rather than waiting around for them to decide to attack us. We'll take the initiative. There we go, that was easily dealt with. What we're going to do here is inspect the clothing that... Who is this? Rico Burns. So the cloth flop hat, that we would not want because of the hit points or the degradation. The pants and the flop hat could be quite useful. So we're going to strip Burns of her clothing now. We don't want the smoke leaf joints, but we will take the bone tribal axe. And we'll just get Q to haul all of this back. And what we're going to do now, just to make sure our guys don't attempt to wear the clothing that's going to tank their mood, we'll go to their we'll go to their outfit manager. Allow tainted, no. Hit points, only stuff that has 50% or greater hit points. That way we should avoid the -10 mood modifiers that come with the precepts from our ideology. So the polar bear will have to wait for another day. No, it won't. Q is going to go and do it this evening. Well, that's okay. Okay, as anticipated, the polar bear has now turned manhunter. It's dropped its speed to 4.32. That's obviously due to the gunshot wound hits sustained on its front left leg. Okay, I think this fight now is only going to end one way. There we go. So we'll haul the polar bear back to our little stockpile. What do we have here? A lone survivor has arrived. Suffering from a trauma that they cannot communicate to our colonists, they appear to have been lost to madness. Let's have a look at this. This is Ilarion Bean. They are in a berserk mental state. In terms of their skills, they have good plant skill and animal skill, as well as good construction and intellectual and mining. They're also a fast learner and they have the bloodlust trait. It would be quite tempting if they calm down to attempt to capture them. Okay, let's solve that little one then, so that won't be happening. Never mind. And that's now set all of these caribou into a manhunter frenzy, as we can see, so they're now going to beeline for our colonists. That's unfortunate. Okay, and they have split up, so we're going to have to be careful of our rear here. So that's one taken care of. And in fact, while the others are preoccupied, we will finish it off. We'll then start working through the rest of the herd. That's another taken care of. 2 more to go. And they are now heading towards me, so let's start backing up a little bit there. That's 3 out of 4 now dealt with, so just the final one to go. If we can go and attract its attention. Here we go. Oh god. Luckily, Q did not sustain any injuries there, that was close. And that's that one taken care of. So let's finish that one off as well, and then Q can go back to sleep. And that's 3 decent sized animals right next to our base for our own use. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, I do think we'll end this episode here today. I know there hasn't been much progression in this episode, and I did say in episode number 1 that there'd be more jump cuts with some of the more basic progression cut out. However, I wanted to include a lot of the early game survival elements of this playthrough. Once we get ourselves fully established and threats from temperature and wildlife are no longer a factor, that's when we'll start including more and more jump cuts and the likes. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please consider leaving a like, and if you'd like to follow along, then you can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. But for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.